to another day of the SSL Challenge. We're doing weekly again. No more time off. It's time for week 5, the SSL Challenge.
Week 5 of the first stage, which will determine which 6 players are going to make it to the second stage to determine who is going to make it to the fast lane and who will make it through.
Which determines who will make it to Premier. So
exactly.
Yeah, Chaos is a ladder, guys, and so is the SSL Challenge. So.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, I just finished catching up today.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Yeah, so we've got StarCraft, but we also have dank memes. And so tonight, if you're new to the SSL Challenge, just to get you prepared mentally, physically, ecumenically for what's about to transpire, this is a little bit of a lighthearted show. In fact, if you watch the Korean stream, you'll know what we're talking about. Those guys are hilarious, but there's also StarCraft here. So sometimes we talk about that too.
We just need a PD that we can show everybody her picture and make fun of her.
We should do that
to the camera.
Our PD. Show his picture on stream.
You guys, I don't think he would like that very much.
Well, he also could just change the camera view, so I'm not sure if that would work out. So
yeah, I think he would win in the end. He's pretty good at that. He's a good PD. But
this is very true.
Now you guys are pretty curious about what he looks like, right?
That's true. He's a very handsome man.
Yeah.
Less so today. But no, I'm just kidding.
The man behind the camera.
Well, he's not literally behind the camera.
We'll never know.
Metaphorically speaking. He's actually been in front of the camera once.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he casted League with me.
Long time ago. Yeah.
Long time ago, like a month ago.
It's a long time in esports,
That's true, that's true. Everything does change very fast here.
So tonight's a little bit wacky. We once again are at a disadvantage to our Korean counterparts because they have 3 people and we only have 2.
And a bear.
Oh, that's true.
They have a bear,
also have the bear,
too.
I'm stealing that bear next time. Actually,
no, they have multiple bears.
Yeah, during one of our breaks, I'm actually just going to run up there while they're on camera, steal their bear, and run away with it.
That's cool. I can solo cast while you're doing it.
No, I'll just bring the bear down here, and then we can trio cast.
During the break. Okay.
Yeah. Or even during live.
Where would he sit, though?
We'll
I guess he could sit
live.
in front of the desk. We can set him up there.
Yeah. It's very true.
Yeah.
I'm actually just gazing at the wonder of our Jin Air. We actually had the Jin Air logo flipped upside down a couple of times because people were not sure. It actually looks pretty much the same both ways, but should we talk about
It's almost like they tried to do that or something. I know. It's crazy to think about. It's just the N and the A are slightly different because there's a bar going through the A and not through the N. But, yeah, we got some good games tonight. I mean, SOS coming out of his GSL group.
Well, we actually have 3 GSL players. Like today's GSL group was almost made specifically from SSL Challenge players. We had Bunny, SOS, and Beyond all play in GSL. And, of course, out of all of those, it's only SOS who has yet to qualify for Stage 2. And, you know, with a 0-3 score at -4, that is kind of out of his reach.
He's playing for fun today, I suppose, but it looks like Patience still can make it. If I'm not, I don't know. I think it's going to be a little bit hard. The other guy needs to lose, but either way, he would need to win. And then we do have Byun versus Zest. Byun also playing in GSL today. And then Jokji versus Bunny. Bunny also playing in GSL today. And then Hush versus Impact. So we got 3 tired players, although Byun did go home and rest.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Byun at GSL. It was actually, there we go. It's actually,
I was actually talking to Byun.
I was actually talking to Byun earlier on today. Yeah, at GSL, after he finished winning his group, he got out fast, and he actually said that he was pretty glad that he got out quickly first in his group so that he could go home. And Byun actually lives pretty close, so he was able to come back, get some rest, and then come back to play in SSL here tonight. So he's definitely made run the gauntlet of Korean StarCraft tonight.
Yeah, that's cool. He's looking for success, especially because last season of SSL Challenge he failed to make it through the fast lane.
It was so close, though.
I know, it was close. That fast lane is pretty brutal, man. But
well, he does get to play early tonight, too, so he's not going to have the TY syndrome where you have to play in GSL and then also
play the 4th
tonight.
match.
Yeah,
and the other matches before go for so long. It's pretty crazy, guys. We got a new mascot.
Yeah,
we
actually
the
upgraded.
GSL Fly.
So there's a GSL
or the SSL Challenge Fly.
Maybe it came over from GSL. I don't know.
Maybe. It followed Rapid here.
We used to have SSL Mosquito. Now we have SSL Fly. So we're just gonna be looking around for that.
I saw the Mosquito around here somewhere, but he brought his friend, the Fly.
I guess so, Valdez.
Yeah.
It's just a family show here. We've got everything included, including some StarCraft, maybe possibly eventually, but. this is definitely a tangential fact about tonight. Yeah, so I think we should also mention that we are going to be reading chat during today's show. So if you have any nuggets of wisdom, I think
occasionally.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to be like looking at the chat, but they were kind of like, okay, the mosquito's back. But they were kind of like, you know, you guys could check out the chat if you want to, maybe interact a little bit. This is supposed to be very laid back, very interactive. You know, you can tweet at us at Brendan Valdez at Rapid Casting, or you could talk to us on chat. You know,
yeah,
we're not going to be looking at chat the whole time.
Precisely the best way is going to be tweeting at us. It's
probably.
at Brendan Valdez with an S on the end. I feel like there's probably a lot of tweets to Brendan Valdez with a Z.
I got to say my name like Brendan Valdez. Valdez.
I mean, I guess people
it's got
will
a nice
it.
ring to it, but that's not how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I feel like Rapid Casting probably pretty much everybody knows how to spell that, unless they just don't know what we're saying right now.
They confuse it with Rabid Casting, which does happen sometimes.
Yeah, no, man, that Rabbit guy, he's out there. He's coming for me.
He appears every once in a while when something really exciting happens on a broadcast.
Well, you're not wrong there. That's about how high-pitched my voice can get, but... yeah, let us know what you have to say about tonight's games, tonight's players. First up, it's going to be Patience, who, like you said, has been struggling a little bit this season. It's not like he can't win games, it's just he can't close out series. So still a journey ahead of him.
Needs to win tonight to have a chance. He needs to go 2-2 and hope for a tiebreaker with our second place player in Group A. Let me see who that is. That's actually Jockji.
Yep.
So would need Jockji to lose to Bunny, which I do
very
believe
possible
should happen.
I feel like very possible is somewhat of an understatement there, but he's going up against a guy who knows all about PvP, who you can never count out. This is SOS, and he just finished getting out of his GSL round of 16 group earlier on today. He's in the GSL round of 8, but he hasn't won a game in SSL Challenge.
This guy's a madman. That's the only way to put it. His builds are wacky. He does really well in one tournament and then sucks in the other.
Yeah, you really can just never count this guy out. Either he tries the wackiest stuff and he succeeds, or ends in ultimate failure, which has been kind of his SSL story. And, you know, the SSL map pool is different from a lot of other tournaments in that we still have a couple of old maps like Frost and Whirlwind. But we have just added in, or no, that's in SSL Premier, that we added in Acolyte and Mech Depot, right?
Yeah. That is
so I don't think we have those yet here in SSL Challenge.
Don't think so. There's no announcement. We didn't hear anything.
Maybe we'll get them for round 2, but it's a mystery. So
maybe. Probably
I'm optimistic.
Not. Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Anything can change.
I would like to not cast Frost for like the
Frost and Whirlwind
time.
too are just like the biggest maps. So
yeah. I mean, I said it on a broadcast before, but like Overgrowth, Frost, these two maps specifically, I've been casting them since the beginning of my StarCraft casting career.
They're back.
In 2014.
You can never escape.
Until the end of 2017, these maps are still here, and I can hope that only eventually they will be taken away. I mean, they're good maps, but at the same time, you know, there are a lot of map makers. You got to make new maps. We got to put in new maps. There are new maps literally available that we're not using.
Yeah.
I would like to use them.
I think we also have like the Team Liquid map contest is back again, back to make even wackier maps. Like I want to say that like Sequencer, came from that as well.
Yeah.
And we got to see that for a while. It felt like a brief period of time, and then it was gone like dust in the wind. Pour one out, man. It's a sad time to be maps like that.
But I mean, there are other good maps. You know, I'm a little bit salty.
What's your favorite map right now, Valdez? To cast.
A lot of them are, to be honest, they're very like passive maps. These like big 2-player maps, like Odyssey, like Ascension to Ire, like
Abyssal Reef.
Abyssal Reef is the big one where it's like, okay, I guess we're gonna play like a 20-minute game where nobody kills each other, and then eventually Alive dies, and like 25 minutes.
It eventually
we
happens.
Casted that in Premiere that game.
Yeah, we also casted
like,
in GSL.
Yeah.
So
it just never seems to
It
end,
happens,
but
yeah. Things can go late here.
I like other maps. I'm trying to think of one. Nothing really pops into my head like immediately. There's not one map where I'm like, yeah, this is the greatest map right now.
I've been a big fan. I think you know, maps like Acolyte specifically like just make for very long games, and even like Abyssal Reef sometimes can get split in half, or Newkirk Precinct oftentimes gets split in half.
Newkirk
like
is
that,
pretty
so.
good. I like Newkirk.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of variety.
Yeah, I like maps where anything can happen. Basically,
Yeah.
it's not like okay, you're basically forced into getting 3 bases, and we're not going to attack each other because it's not smart to do that, you know.
Yeah.
And then you get the the occasional cheese once every 100
Well, I
games.
think you have
or something.
to mix that in there to kind of balance things out, because otherwise, well, you're kind of just stuck with only one play style, and anytime you know what to expect from your opponent, you can then do what counters that. So there's a healthy balance. I feel like SSL Challenge specifically is sort of the regulated cheese tournament. Like, we've just seen some
It's
of
where the players try out their
here.
builds.
So yeah, I mean, it's a nice sort of like proving grounds, like practice area. They come here and, oh, by the way, they just get paid hundreds of dollars every day. So sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah, I think right now it's 200 for the winner and 100 for the loser. And then
it goes
second stage is 300 for the winner, 200 for the loser. So it's not bad. They want to get into Premier. They want to get that big cash.
It's true.
The 2-0 is 800 or like $700 if we're doing the
Oh, right, yeah.
the exchange rate. What is it? The currency?
Yeah, it's about
rate thing?
800,000 won, so that would be
Yeah.
about maybe $675, which is still a
It's
lot
pretty
of
nice.
money for 2-0ing your opponent in a game of StarCraft. So
Yeah. Innovation did that in like 7 minutes to a live, so it's possible.
it's still just endless hilarity to me.
Yeah,
Never gets old.
I'm getting a little bit.
Curious as to why they haven't started the game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I know exactly what you were thinking about this.
So we're going to be jumping into our first set here. Will be Patience versus SOS. Patience, I love that jersey. The yellow Protoss Dead Pixels jersey.
I like Impact's red Dead Pixels
Yeah.
jersey too. They pick some good colors you don't see all the time. Generic Green Wings jersey, as always, is fantastic.
Still got the fake tie
That's
for
true.
so long
A
now.
staple of all generic jerseys. Let's go
Yeah.
ahead and get into game number 1 of our first series of the night. It's SOS versus Patience. We will now introduce, just so you know who they are. In the red, in the upper left-hand corner, he is Patience. We found that out by who the player was on camera.
Yeah.
His opponent in the blue is...
Sauce.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, did you know, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I heard in an SSL interview that SOS actually stands for, like, was it Spirit of Sky?
Really?
Yeah.
I think you told me that, actually.
I believe I am correct in that, if I'm not incorrect.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a sentence, Valdez.
the only couple of things you could be, I suppose. Nothing
gates.
crazy yet.
Yeah, I feel like one gate expand is probably the most popular build you see for Protoss in every other matchup. And for PvP, it's going to be like a 2-gate, and then we get to find out which player builds 2 Adepts and which player builds 2 Stalkers.
Blink Templar says that he thinks it's Soul of Sky.
Oh, Solar Sky, yeah, that is definitely true.
There you go. Soul of Sky. Usually it's Save Our Souls. but-
Save our ship, right?
I thought it was Save Our Souls.
I thought it was save our ship.
I don't know. Somebody could
Well, it's awfully
also let us
presumptuous
know
to-
in the chat there.
Yeah, it's
could
awfully
look that-
presumptuous to think that everybody has souls. I mean, there are. It's gonna make a.
There are some soulless people out there. You would be correct, Rapid.
Yeah, they all play Proton. No, I'm just kidding. For SOS,
No, they're all red-haired. Anyway,
if you have watched GSL earlier on today, then you know what SOS's PvP looks like. It's a little bit crazy. Also, I'd like to point out that our builds are a little bit crazy because we have, instead of 2 Adepts or 2 Stalkers, it's a Zealot and a Stalker. I don't know what to think anymore.
of course it's SOS.
My
that
world's
would
been
do
turned
that.
upside down.
Did he make that or cancel it? Okay, he canceled it and made a Twilight Council instead.
Whoa! All right, so we're mixing things up quite substantially here. Also, I want to note patrolling around outside with the Mothership Core, a unit that will not exist in the near future.
Yeah, that is true. We got to enjoy it while it lasts. Curious about the builds here for SOS. Knowing SOS, it's probably going to be DTs.
You Star Tail curious about it?
Yeah. There it is. I know this guy. He's going to go DTs.
Now they're not proxy DTs, or it's not like built in a wacky place out on the map. So, I mean, definitely scoutable if you can get into the base at any point. But
this is a sneaky one.
Yeah.
On a map like this, it's very hard to even get a scout of the natural because you got to go up that ramp and you never know what's up there. So it's like you could see Patience. He goes to the bottom of the ramp and then he's like, okay, I'm going to go back home.
Well, if he just scans, he can. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it is very risky for Patience behind this throwdown and expansion of his own. He could be going up against the hardest of hardcore SOS cheeses. Needs to be.
Uh-oh, Twilight Council. That's not a good sign,
Indeed,
Patience
no.
fans.
Now,
There's no
Valdez,
detection that comes out of that building.
Tell us, yes, why that is not a good sign. No detection is indeed a bad thing.
Okay, robotics follow-up, though.
He's just getting everything. I guess maybe that is truly what you need to defend against a player you cannot, or you don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, making robotics against SOS and PvP should be standard.
I feel like you really just have to, he's not as bad as like a player like Myungshik, where you just kind of know what's coming. Like, okay, I get it. You're going to cheese me in some wacky way. But I think SOS really proved to a lot of people tonight that he can play the straight-up head-to-head, heads-up macro game.
I mean, this is why this guy can win BlizzCons, right? Because he is actually a well-rounded player. It's just that in a lot of these, like SSL Challenge or even random GSL days, he will not be ever scared to go into wacky builds like this. And
no,
that makes him very unpredictable.
I am super confused as to what SOS is doing here. He gets in. There's absolutely, let's count how much detection is. We're gonna start on our 0th finger, and we're just gonna stay there because there was no detection. Patience did eventually produce an observer, but instead of SOS pulling back after not really, I guess, getting that much damage done.
Yeah, it's a very safe way to play with your DTs.
The true mind game. You go in, you get the warp in, you get into your opponent's base with no detection, then you leave.
You just freak them out a little bit.
A literal madman. Nobody else would do that.
You make them squeal in the booth, like, oh my god.
That's what happens. Wow.
That's what I imagine Patience sounds like.
Patience finds the proxy pylon, which is always sort of a sigh of relief that you can breathe as a Protoss in PvP. But wait, there's more.
The pylon's older brother, Mr. Warp Prism here, is going for a drop in the main, and Patience is ready for this.
Pylon is like the Metapod status, then it evolves into the beautiful Warp Prism Butterfree.
Exactly. I'm glad we're on the same page
there
here.
There we go, yeah, we got it.
Caster synergy is on point.
Why can't you warp in things off of the giant neutral Zelnaga crystals and stuff on the map? Surely you could, like, capture them, but okay, here we go.
Watch this.
You mean watch that thing where he runs
Hold
in?
my beer. He didn't even
He knows there's an observer there, right?
He just, like, sat there.
I'm so confused right now.
Well, I mean, SOS is trying for it, and the second the Mothership Core attacks, he knows there's detection. I was just laughing because Patience didn't, it was like a game of chicken. He's like, no, I'm not going to overcharge. You're not going to stick around. I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Well, he does win that, I suppose. Third base is now on the way for both of our players, and it looks like we will survive any early game hijinks and make it into the next phase of whatever our players have planned for us tonight.
Yeah, should be going into a bit of a longer one here. This is what I was talking about, Ascension to Ire,
Whoa!
You go for these early game builds, and if it doesn't pay off, it's like, well, we're going macro.
I mean, luckily the maps it's kind of split into like 2 triangles, so you can say, okay, well, eventually it'll be very difficult to defend your 2 outer bases because they're so widely separated. Again, this DT is walking. What is SOS doing?
He's actually trolling. Like,
he goes for it, attacks.
He just swipes once.
This is like mental warfare.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here. I'm attacking the pylon.
And then he leaves.
Yeah. So I guess he's trying to like fake Patience out and make him like think that there's a lot more there. When he pulls back and is now actually just going for a very strong Archon Immortal, Sentry, Stalker, Adept.
Everything Protoss, basically.
Yep. Just a little bit of everything. A little bit of Monica in my life.
The force fields are going to have to be very good for SOS. And they're definitely the big one.
Not good enough to stop Blink from working.
Yeah, there's no Archons in the mix for Patience. Yeah. So
To be fair, there's fairly low biological units there for Patience. So the Archon's maybe not getting too much bonus damage, but turns out you've got a lot of bonus damage from just a gigantic army here. SOS going to get another warp in behind this, and you know the force fields will eventually run out, as will the overcharges. Adepts, oh my,
knowing SOS, I thought maybe he would do it, but
yeah,
there's too good of an opportunity here at the third base.
Now, I believe it was SOS, maybe it was Hero earlier on today in GSL who decided to overextend into his opponent's natural instead of backing out and killing at third base. So definitely not making that same mistake here. For Patience, he is going to get that the Templar Archives. I always call it the High Templar Archives for some reason. It does make High Templars.
Yeah.
Or I guess it allows the production of High Templar.
I guess you're not wrong.
Just Templar Archive 6. Whoa, that's a lot of gas. On the way into 3 Archons, of course.
Always threatening this shade. Could try to get on top of the sentries. Not going to do it without the rest of his army, of course. He's got a base up on Patience right now. Patience is freaking out a little bit. He's like, oh my god, this is SOS. He might just be all-inning me, but actually, SOS back home has a nice economy. Doesn't have any upgrades as far as I know, though, in terms of like attack upgrades.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see when he clicks on his units, but yeah, there indeed they are.
Wasn't paying attention.
SMH casters these days, I tell you. Well, pushing out across the map now is, I guess that's not necessarily a push, it's a, what do you call that, a contingent of Patience's army?
Squad.
I think we had this conversation last season.
Yeah, we did.
I don't remember what it was.
But it was about Marines because they're soldiers. It's like, what is the official name? It's like a platoon and a squad and
a phalanx.
Yeah.
I think that's one of them.
Something like that.
The world may never know. So yeah, both players survived the early game. I think mainly that's Patience surviving, and I'm not sure what SOS was doing, kind of toying with him early with those DT hijinks, but that's my new word, hijinks. I didn't know that until I said it twice. I'm like, oh, that's a good word.
Yeah. You're piquing my interest with that word.
That's peaking with a Q, not a K like the duck.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Nice concave here for Patience, but he does have less stuff. The force fields are not that good, to be honest. And now Patience just on the run, sustaining a bunch of damage as he does retreat. Look at the gigantic number of adepts in the mix here for SOS. Really doing work against Patience's army.
Will he complete the Shade, though? I mean, double overcharge is kind of rough to run into. Shade does not complete, but I mean, the third base is back up and running again pretty remarkably quickly. Patience has gotten, has resecured that. SOS, though, he won't be able to warp in Immortal. Whoa, my god, that's a lot of adepts.
And he's going into the main, too. He's going for the throat here with this move.
I'm glad he started that Shade as soon as possible, because he is going to need to get in and get out. Wow, adepts are pretty good, Valdez.
Well, he is very far ahead at this point.
Yes.
He's kind of just like playing with his food, saying, okay, I'm going to do some fancy schmancy stuff with my Shades and try to attack at the same time. Definitely has a stronger army over here. And Patience doesn't have an economy anymore. So there you have it. Game number 1 goes to SOS.
I mean, he does have the ability to reach for and find successfully his G key, which is exactly what he did. And there you have it, guys. Game number 1 in the record books, or just the books, metaphorically speaking, of course.
Yeah. Patience playing a little bit scared that game, you know? And a couple of small mistakes that turned into really large ones, like his army wasn't in position for when SOS wrapped around and went for his third base. He had a bunch of observers, but it's like he was still scared about the shenanigans with like DT drops, so they weren't really in position to scout the movements of SOS's army. So SOS just went over, took a free third base, and was like, okay, I'm a whole base ahead for like 3 minutes.
It's all the DTs.
This can't be bad.
It's the early DTs. They got him shook.
Yeah.
Valdez, that's what happens. So that does actually mean that with that loss, there's no longer a potential for Patience to take a 2-0 victory here. And so that means that he will be eliminated. Sadly enough, we're going to have to vote him off the island.
That means that Jiangxi does get into the second round.
Oh, wow, that's actually really significant.
Jokti was the only other one, because SOS is down at the bottom, and we get 3 of the 5 of Group A in. Bunny's already
Eventually,
in, Sue's
some
already
people
in.
just have to make it in.
Yeah.
This is a thing that happens. We can't just like vote everybody out. In fact, if we had like all players with 0 wins, well, that's also just not possible. So eventually things do have to work out. Our format's not totally broken. So it will work eventually. And for Jokji, I guess he's probably pretty happy about that. Already things kind of deciding in his favor, even though he's not playing yet. You know, I feel like he's also kind of struggled this season, but he's looked at least good enough to advance.
Jokti, yeah. I don't remember who he beat that one day where we were very surprised. He beat SOS. That I do know. But maybe it was Patience. It's possible. Not 100% sure. Or no, I think it was Sue.
Yes.
I think it was Sue.
Actually lost. Yeah, very
one.
surprisingly.
Yeah.
That was a wacky game.
So that's basically the win that gets Jokti in. Even if he gets crushed by Bunny tonight, it doesn't matter. He will be going to the next round. So going into game number 2 now on Frost between these 2 players.
I mean, we just show their names on the screen. Fly Better Fly Janair. I don't know if we do that in SSL Challenge. That also is on the screen.
No, I mean, we could basically do whatever we want here.
Well, that's Dead Pixel's Patience. His opponent in the blue on the other side of one of the largest maps in the map pool here is Janair Greenwing's SOS.
As we said before, if you guys want to interact with us on Twitter or in the chat, I've got the chat open on my phone.
Yeah, and if I think Twitter's probably better if you want to like read it out later on or something.
Yeah, that's like if you have a must-read message.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody's messages tonight are must-read, Valdez.
Yeah. If you think you have a must-read message
well,
that we have to, you know, spread to the masses, you can go ahead and send us a message on Twitter.
And call now.
Yeah.
We should get an SSL phone number.
1-800-SSL-CHALLENGE.
That's probably too many letters, Valdez.
1-800-CHALLENGE.
Actually, SSL series. No, that's still one too many. Never mind.
Oh, SSL series?
Yeah, I guess.
It's like, you know, 1-800-Mattress?
Oh, yeah.
M-A-T-T-R-E-S. That used to drive me crazy.
No, it drove me crazy, too. They had a super catchy... They had a catchy theme song, though. So that's why I remember all their commercials.
Yeah.
Or that Mattress Giant theme song. You remember Mattress Giant? Maybe they didn't have that. Na, 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 na. Yeah, that's like burned into my brain. Maybe they don't have those where you're from. You East Coasters, you.
I just remember the radio like, call now, 1-800-MATTRES. Like, no, that's not how you spell mattress.
Secretly, they're sponsoring Brendan's Mattress.
Yeah. to be clear, we are not associated in any way or form with 1-800-Mattress.
We take no responsibility for our memes here on SSL Challenge. We use them flagrantly, irresponsibly, and most of all, well, yeah, I guess that is most of all.
Okay. You know, sometimes you call me Brandon Valdez.
Yeah.
Someone said, "Hi, Brandon Valdez," with a bunch of Z's. He's taking it to the next level.
Well played.
I think he's in on the meme. I think he knows.
He gets it.
I get it.
I get it too. Sometimes more frequently than others. So here we go. We're going to have an Adept off. It appears as if SOS is ahead, maybe, kind of. I think SOS won that.
Oh, the Shade catch up. And we don't get to see it because there is a Stargate.
This is what we like to call suspense.
Patience won the battle.
He did. Got a probe and the first blood being drawn.
We got an Oracle on the way, though, being chrono boosted out, and only 2 Stalkers are at the front of the base here for Patience. I think he should have a Mothership Core.
You know, ever since the new sort of patch projections on how Blizzard wants to change or adapt, adjust the game came out, I kind of watch games with that perspective in mind. The Stalker change is one that I guess Artosis highlighted it in his article on SC Dojo that some of the impacts of that change and how it's really going to affect the PvX matchup, just because Stalkers can be so effective early on. Now, instead, I think they like 3-shot Marines. So really going to be effective. Same thing if you're going Stalker versus Adept. It's a matchup that we've seen several times. Whoa, I want to live!
SOS is just doing this thing today where he puts his harassment units in the person's base and then he doesn't attack anything. He just walks around. He's like, hey, nice space you got there.
Well, I mean, this is called the SSL challenge, so perhaps that is a challenge, Valdez.
Yeah. Valdez is incredibly handsome. I am glad he can't read chat.
Big fan. Well, chat's actually scrolling so fast that nobody will be able to read that, so.
Yeah, it's true.
That's what's happening.
I didn't catch that one. We got a Stargate follow-up from Patience.
He goes and he kills one probe and backs out. A cheeky lad, if I do say so myself.
Team harassment. Doesn't sound like something good in the real world.
Definitely does not. Oh my, really? Really?
Yeah, this is always a good trade. Oh, it comes into the main too.
Goodness.
Overcharge is going to push him out for now.
Yeah, I mean, you can crash that one single solitary gas probe. He's gonna get, really? No. I mean, you see this in like PvZ where there's so many oracles that he can go in and kill like crazy tech structures, but not gonna see that here tonight. And a big gateway explosion behind this for SOS. Blink timing, okay. Been a while since I've seen this as his go-to. Also, I don't think he has a proxy pylon, does he? No. I want to say no.
First Phoenix on the map.
Yeah, now
only one.
Phoenix were actually something that we saw from Hero today. Hero and SOS both tried out some really interesting Phoenix builds, getting a lot of anion pulse crystals for range, but that was really only when they were in large numbers, and it certainly appears as if we are not going to see those large numbers here tonight, at least not in this series.
Yeah, SOS is going for a pretty aggressive attack here. He does have that pylon out on the map, just finished Blink, and is staying at a pretty low probe count. You guys can see he's warping in 6 Stalkers, ever so slowly. And it will be going for an attack here. There's no Blink for Patience, which is a bit of a problem.
I mean, I think he's going to find out how much of a problem it is if he tries to push in here and do anything aggressive.
Whoa.
There he goes, the big Blink in. Look at these oracles. They're actually attacking the units warping in, which are going to be taken out post-haste. And this is a big win for SOS, who's rolling over Patience's army.
Yeah, that was pretty one-sided. It seems like it worked. Oh, no!
You get that Nexus.
Okay. Got some kills. Question is, can he hold off this attack?
Ooh, Blinkin snipes that Phoenix, wisely realizing that his time may be limited. So avoids attacking that Nexus. Warping it, comes for damage in the natural.
Emergency state here for Patience, making a Void Ray. Those pylons are late, and the big Blink in, focusing down the Stalkers.
TIL, that's what Oracles are for, focusing down Stalkers, Valdez. I think this is a pretty clear win for SOS. He just has a little bit too much.
Hero Immortal and the Overcharge? What is going on with these Oracles tonight? They're just doing nothing. Immortal is doing a ton of damage, trying to focus it down though, and there it does go. What happened to that Void Ray? There it is.
Yep.
GG.
But it's too late. Too little, too late. SOS claims yet another PvP victory today and has successfully completed his sweep of tournaments for the day. Victories in SSL and GSL are his. Now he gets to sleep pretty well tonight, probably.
Yeah. Bopperino picks up the money. His play looked a little bit weird at times, where he was like going in with the DTs and not attacking anything and then running away. And then he still managed to be patient.
What's up with that? I mean, maybe that's just the I'm this good build. Maybe it's for style points. I don't know.
He really wanted to keep it alive for making 1 Archon, I guess, because he did follow up with that timing where he had like 3 Archons, and that's the only thing I can really think of. Like if we're talking serious here, maybe he was just memeing, you know. But
I think it looked a little bit like a meme, like when you go forward, attack the pylon once, and then back off. This is clearly psychological warfare.
That was pretty funny.
That's what we're calling it.
It's like trying to bait him over to the third base and shade into the back door.
Like, what is going on? Oh, my God. I'm still confused. I was actually honestly pretty confused from his GSL games, too. There were strategies we just haven't seen. He's a
confusing guy.
Well, that's going to do it for our first series of the night. We're going to have Beyond versus a player, Zest, coming up next.
To the ones up above, all the hate that you've heard has turned your